Right now I'm going to explain to you a term called a 2-minute drill. And to be honest with you, that's foreign for a lot of people. Before I do so, I want to explain a couple terms. The first term I want to explain what's called a pay period. Hopefully you already know what a pay period is. Basically what it does is it ends on the first and third Tuesday of every month. The reason why that's important is what AdvoCare does, it accumulates the volume over the course of a pay period. We all start at zero at the very beginning of a pay period, and at the end, all the volume is tallied, and that's how we get paid. I'd assume that you've already gone through how retail sales works and wholesale commissions and override, the number of different ways we get compensated in AdvoCare. But just like the term 2-minute drill, what's the most important time in a football game is that last 2 minutes. That's what makes or breaks a football team, is those last 2 minutes. And so football's coined that term. And in AdvoCare we have what's called a 2-minute drill. And what that is, that can be the last 4 or 5 days of a pay period. And everything's totaled up. If people focus in on this, the last 4 or 5 days can double and it can triple somebody's paycheck if somebody focuses in on this. And so what you're looking to do is you're looking to take people through the process of AdvoCare, through the successes, some things you've already heard about in some of these trainings over the last 4 or 5 days. I'll tell you what Jen and I focused in on when we first got started. Even our first 90 days in AdvoCare, what we always thought of is, first and foremost, there's already been a training talking about having a list mentality. And what a list is people you're looking to impact with the products or looking to impact with the business. This is what we're focusing on the last 4 or 5 days. First and foremost is what's called P, is what's called a prospect. Those are already on the list, and I'm not going to talk a lot about that. These are some of the folks you're going to be focusing in on over the last 4 or 5 days of the pay period. And we're looking to take them through this process. And this is what Jenny and I did to go from 0 to Ruby in 90 days. This is the only focus we had. We didn't understand how to get compensated, but if we understand this, it can absolutely explode your paycheck. And this is what we were taught, P to C to D to A. And once they got there, this is what we were focusing on at the end of a pay period. Prospect into a retail customer, or we're taking a retail customer into a distributor or an advisor. But the whole goal was, by the end of the pay period, once they get to advisor, basically that's what the 2 minutes, that's like a touchdown in the last 2 minutes, is we're getting people to the advisor. And that's what we're focusing on the last 4 or 5 days, is taking them through this process from a P to C to D to an A. And once they get to advisor, guess what we're doing with that advisor? We can no longer take them from P to C to D to A, so we're looking to help these advisors go through the exact same process. And if you focus in on that, especially over the last 4 or 5 days, you're looking for a touchdown.